It's March the 8th, 2 p.m. Central European Time, and we are live! Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. First of all, thanks for the beautiful music of our intro that has been provided to us by Bolz and Knecht, which you see. Here's the homepage. Check out their music. Pretty good musicians. And my name is Andy. I'm a 2D animator and illustrator. And today I'm really excited about today's episode, as we developed a character the last time I was streaming on Friday. And today we're gonna animate that character. This is what came out of a basic warm-up sketch on Friday, and it was real fun to do the character. It developed bit by bit, and here's what we've got when we finished the stream. So the idea is to animate a run cycle. We are here in the software KRITA, which is completely free. It's a drawing software with super cool animation tools, and I can explain them as far as I know them until now, because I'm only animating with the software for 3 weeks now. I'm coming from Photoshop, where I animated before. I know Adobe Animate, and so the switch to KRITA was not that difficult. So if you are familiar with one of those softwares, you're definitely gonna start doing animations quite quickly in KRITA as well. So yes, I've never animated a run cycle. I'm quite familiar with walk cycles, but a run cycle has never been animated by me. So this is gonna be cool. The other thing that I'm not really that I haven't done, but I don't think that's going to be a problem, is kind of the perspective, because as you see, the last animations we did were basically frontal perspective, where you see the character drawing from the front, or well, from the side, but there's no perspective. Here we have a 2-point perspective, so we gonna have to beware of that. We're gonna see how that's gonna work out, but yes. So my first, I hope that everything is set and will work throughout the stream. I restarted the computer. I checked that so I hope we are stable. I haven't got any music here. I don't put music in the background for you guys, so you just can listen to whatever you feel happy with. I don't want to tell you what you have to listen music wise while watching the stream. So I got my fine tunes now on the ear, and let's start. All right, so I had a quick look on run cycles this weekend, because hey Jack, I'm fine, how are you doing today? Yeah, I checked out a little bit about run cycles this weekend, because I felt I just at least wanna be sure that I don't miss any theoretical things about the run cycle, so just to be a little bit prepared and not go in there without any idea. And basically I just wanted to see how the key poses, how many key poses we should draw to make it work. And I used the Animators Survival Kit for this specific animation, which is this great book here, which I can only recommend to everybody who's interested in animation in general, whether it's 3D, keyframe animation, hand-drawn frame-by-frame animation. This book is really, really helpful when it comes to animation, especially when you do frame by frame animation. At least that's what I feel. So there are 4 poses that we're gonna need. Basically, the one that we see here is one of them. And I don't want to lie to you, I couldn't wait completely to start animating this character. So I did a test, which is not based on this drawing. I just drew the character again from memory, more or less how it is, and basically nailed it down to the 4 poses which are recommended for a run cycle, and worked on top of them. So I'm gonna show you afterwards my process, how I dissected the whole animation, and it's pretty interesting because today we're gonna see a lot of bouncing balls. So this is it replays a little bit weird. It's not really because the player is looping it, but oh shit. Oh, sorry. So this is basically what I think would be a great start to animate it, especially as it's just 4 poses. And the timing looks so off, but we're gonna see that afterwards. I think this is just because of the player. So I just tweaked a little bit with the timing that it's working like I think I would like to have it. And yeah, that's basically it. So let's see the poses. So here we have the pose more or less that we have here, right? So he's with both feet in the air. So, okay. I apparently I cannot scroll through this. Let me see if I can open it in another player where we have the option to scroll through it, but maybe you don't have. Need a player with a loop. Oh, I don't even actually need the loop function when we just want to watch. I cannot even pause it. It's too short. Well, anyways, we're gonna have 4 poses. Just believe me, and we're gonna go through those poses together. So let's start. I think I'm gonna get rid of this. This was not really. Do I want to duplicate? I think I duplicate that layer just in case not to lose anything. So, all right. Let's see. I bring down. No, I don't even want to bring down the opacity. What I want. So yeah. Sorry, just let me. I have to arrive first to the stream. Okay. I just jumped in to get settled. So what I want to do is I want to dissect it. That's why I don't want the whole illustration here, and we're gonna draw on top of that. So today it's bouncing ball day. We talked a lot about how basically mastering the bouncing ball animation is key. We should do a warm-up first, check. Oh man, yeah, we should probably. Let's do a quick warm-up. You're right. I'm just so eager to animate that guy. So, all right. Yeah, we can warm up, and yeah, I'm too fast today. We have time. Let's chat a little bit We are also excited. Absolutely, man. Okay. So yeah, let's warm up and have a chat. How was your weekend? How did your week start? So I don't know what I'm on. um Look, so I have no idea what I did, but what I was drawing there, but here we go. We already have two googly eyes here. Well, if that isn't gonna turn out to be a character, I don't know. Yeah, I was really getting I had the time to draw again on paper this weekend. I forced myself more or less because in the evening I tend to draw on my iPad or animate on my iPad, but mostly digitally lately, at least. And because I feel like I'm hooked nearly when the moment I open my eyes, it feels like I'm hooked on a screen. So I felt I have to break this pattern and get back on paper to draw a little bit in the evening, which is a cool way to come down and just relax your mind. And so I found a time and I did some more hand studies. I was telling the other stream that I'm thinking about doing every day for hand gestures and hand drawings, as I really want to improve those and feel very, very shaky doing them. I start to feel improvement, which is so cool because it motivates you when you reach that moment where you feel like, oh, I'm getting better. I'm way off where I would like to be, but there's progress. And as long as you have those moments, those feelings where you feel like, okay, it's gonna be fine. Like, just continue doing it. That's at least my thing that I don't want to lose. And whenever I reach the moment where I feel so frustrated because whatever it happened to me this weekend, drawing the first hands, was like, oh man, this looks so crappy. But then keep pushing and keep pushing, and sometimes I don't push any further and I just keep it as it is, and then I go back and do some doodling and whatever. But normally, whatever you did on your studies, although you felt like it was failing, there you take something with you, and then when you go over to doodling, you can apply some stuff, and just whenever you feel again, you go into the studies. That's what works best for me. And I started off with a few reference poses. Um, and I found some references of a oh, I have what did happen here? So I found a few very sweet references from the movie Klaus on Netflix. I don't know if you have seen it. They're quite stylized hands. But I thought, well, maybe instead of doing those very um, anatomically super correct hands, what happens if I have, like, you see, I tried here some very anatomically, I don't know if we can zoom in. You see those hands, they're like very detailed. This one was the first one, and I felt so horribly frustrated as it looked so weird. And but then bit by bit, this one as well. Look at the fingers; they're way too short. This should be way. This one is quite all right. This one is also quite all right, I think. Here's something off. I think there's too much spacing in between the fingers. So yeah, that was definitely frustration. And then with the stylized um, hands, I felt more comfortable, and somehow they it was easier for me. I don't know if this is a general thing, if this is a good thing, if you shouldn't do this as you don't really learn all the details, but it came easier to me. So yeah, I did this study here on the weekend. All right. All right. Okay, check, you have a new job. That's nice. Super cool. Congratulations, man. Is that the job that you were going last week? Where had to leave early the stream? And yeah, Klaus is such a beautiful movie. I was so excited when it came out. So everybody who hasn't seen Klaus, on it's a movie from by Netflix, produced by Netflix, and uh, it is, don't want to say mostly, it's partly well, the characters are hand drawn frame by frame animation, and the shading is been done like in a very clever way. Some French company, and they developed an awesome render tool where I just saw a trailer of them. I contacted them if it's somehow any case any chance to get one's hand on that software, but no, this is part of, it's their product and they use it for productions, and it's not available for other professionals. Well, what you basically do, you mark like, okay, I would like to have this as a highlight, and then you can actually feather it out, you can tweak it, and then the software analyzes the whole sequence or the whole shot and applies the shading to it. It's amazing. It's so much so much time saving. It's impressive. You love the shade. I love the shading, and I feel it really depends how you see it. Like I feel the the art of drawing and animation is still preserved. The shading is, well, I don't know. Well, you know, you still need an artist who develops the shading, who an art director. So there's no art lost, I think. You just basically jump over those over and over doing the same thing to get the result that somebody designed. So I think you don't lose design and you don't lose skills when it comes to animation and drawing, because that has still been done by hand. So yeah, I think I would love to have that software, to be honest, because I don't know how far they can push this, but it's pretty amazing. And I think there are already other movies as well where they use this software. Okay. All right. Where are we gonna get with this warm up? Are we pushing this further? Are we animating? Or at least we should. Let's do at least a quick character here. Let's finish this off. I have no. So let's make it at least a complete character, right? Not too. I don't know, it feels like okay, some hair. I don't feel like this guy has a beard or mustache. Like we tend to put them mustaches on, but this guy, I don't know what kind of mustache would that kind of guy have. Any? Oh yeah, SPA Studios, how they're called. Yeah. So Jack just on the Twitch chat says it looks like Gollum. Yeah. So Jack says it's SPA Studios, the guys that are behind this technology of Klaus. And yeah, check out on YouTube. I think there's a lot of stuff. I saw it on YouTube and it's pretty cool. He looks like Gollum. Yeah, I think he needs some hair. I don't want to keep him Gollumy. He's just this. I think this is my inner mind just begging to finish the warm up so we can do some run psycho animation of our characters. Just like, please finish it off. I don't know. I just put on some hair and we will see if this is enough. Looks weird anyway, so let's try what's happening with such a face if you put on a mustache. So could could you turn this character into a tough guy with a mustache? It's like maybe he's no. No. I think we need something smaller here. So okay, and I think he just has neither. I think he has. I don't even know. Looks like a maybe it's just a small kid. So no beard here. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good for warm up, and we can jump into a our animation. All right. Let me see. At least I'm gonna save it. We don't throw away anything. So let's see. Doodle. Yeah, check. I agree. I don't think that those huge eyes can ever turn into a tough character. So you have doodles, a lot of doodles. So all right. So now what I've done for my test, and I felt this is so cool, so we can apply this and finally see how the bouncing ball concept is gonna be applied in so many other levels than just like you, or how actually every volume, some body, or all bodies can be broken down into bouncing balls. And although they are so much complexer than just a regular bouncing ball, like this one here, get the perspective right. They behave the same way as a simple bouncing ball. So let's see what I mean with that. That's not supposed to be a link. I got it. I wasn't trying to push the link. So let's see. I'm going to show you how I timed out the animation test that I sent you. So the first, or this drawing where he's in the air, it's going to be 4 frames long, right? And then we're gonna, all right, somehow my keyboard isn't reacting as I want. And this weekend, I figured a friend of mine has the same keyboard without any problems, so apparently it's me on my computer. All right, so now we have the F buttons activated and we are ready to go. All right. Now we gonna need our extreme pose. This is more or less our highest pose where our body will be. Then we're gonna need a transition. That's gonna be this one. I leave it open. I leave it empty. And then we're gonna hit the lowest point. And I'm showing you that we basically can just copy and paste this ball because we don't want any distortion whatsoever. I just want to have it lower. So this is our lowest point, highest point, lowest point, and now we just want to draw in a in-between. But it's not just a simple in-between as I sometimes refer to them. Simple in-between would basically actually just be the same kind of ball. Here I have now my onion skin open. This is the top pose, this is the lower pose, so a basic in-between now would just be drawing the same ball in between those positions. And it would look like this. It's basically just the same ball, but in between. But I don't want that. I don't want a simple in between. I want to apply a stretch. That means I rearrange the volume of our ball. I'm gonna stretch it out. So it's gonna be longer vertically, and horizontally it's gonna be squashed. No, sorry. Is it squashed? Is it squashed only when it comes, the volume pushes outside, or is it also squashed when we squash it in? Anybody can shed a light on that vocabulary issue? So anyways, it's not like the volume as it gets longer loses volumes in the on the sides. I think that's squashed. So we want to keep those. Yeah, it's stretching, but are you referring to stretching to the whole volume? Because I feel like it's vertically stretched and horizontally. Is it also stretched horizontally? Here we also forgot to put in this little line here. Then it's squashed because when it hits the ground, it goes. Okay. All right, it's stretched. Period. Okay. Now. See, we have this one and this one. All right. Doesn't do too much, but you see a slight difference when you see the loop. The stretched in between goes by quite fast, so the effect may not be that strong right now. And now I'm gonna continue with, we have this in between. We reach our lowest point. And then we have to get up again. I just copy it again. We need another in between to finally reach again this pose. So now we're here. We want to reach that pose again. We are here in between and have to put in another in between. So we could put in such an in between again, but I figured because the ball is bouncing back, I want it to bounce back quite fast. That's why I want to have it actually squashed. And I'm trying to explain why in a second. Let me rotate here a little bit. It's gonna be easier. Maybe it's too. So now it is stretched. Canvas reset, canvas rotation. So what happens with this stretch here, as we see it, you get a little bit less opacity on the in-betweens. I imagine like this is the upper part, this is the lower part. The lower part is stretching the rest of the ball because it's moving. It like this part wants to go down, but the part up here is still like it's dragging behind, and that's why it's like the lazy part of the volume. This one wants to get down while this one is not really convinced, and it's gonna be dragged behind, and then it pops down. We could stretch this one out as well, but let's continue as I did it for now. And then the lower part, I imagine the lower part it's just bouncing back so fast that the part here that's still coming down, those 2 points are pushing towards each other, and that's why the volume gets squashed, which is actually not. Let me see. I want to show it until. So what you see here is not actually looking like bouncing ball. And what I mean with that, if the ball would actually, let's do an example. Then I probably would want to have him squashed when he hits the floor. And then coming up again. I think that would be more a bouncing ball if he would be smashing with the whole volume. But here I feel like the feet or the legs work against this movement, so the ball should move like the big one here and not like a classic bouncing ball who bounces off the floor. But I didn't want to say that this normal animation here of a bouncing ball can be applied to everything, but the volume of a ball can be found in every drawing. And so you break down the drawing into those little bouncing balls and try to animate those regarding, like, depending on the movement you want to achieve, and then build on top of that. So it's not like once you understand how a bouncing ball hits a ball and jumps up again, you can apply that to anything. You could, but then you want to experiment a little bit and maybe alter those movements, if that makes any sense. And a little disclaimer here, as I'm completely self-taught, this is just all stuff that works for me and I'm doing right now. But maybe some student of animation may tell me otherwise. So let's see our drawing here. That is not our drawing. There was an earlier version. So this will be the movement of the body. All right. See, this is the body. So I'm gonna create a new layer, and that is gonna be the hands. And I want to do the same thing for the hands. I just reduce it to this simple ball and animate this ball. And here we may apply the bouncing ball as it's hitting off a, well, let's see. And so later I want to apply this stretch and squash to these elements as well. So now, as I'm just reducing it to this ball, it helps me to see where it stretches and time it out. And then afterwards, I'm just gonna build a hand around it, and we're golden. But first, I want to get this bouncing ball the way I want it to be Now let's see previous image if we are good with the overall volume or if we're getting too small. All right. And here I just copy that one to get a loop. And all right. I'm right now. I'm thinking if there's a possibility to move several. There wasn't a possibility to move several frames, right? To, for example, I would love to duplicate this layer, but move all the drawings of this layer over here because it's the same hand. But I don't think it works. No. Well, okay. What a pity. So I have to do it manually. Okay. Try to rearrange here a little bit my work area. I feel like I need more. What's this? Tool options. Let's get rid of this. Can I get rid of this? What's that? Just gonna push it to the other screen. I have no idea what it is and why I cannot close it. Presets, don't want to presets. All right, so let's reduce this even further down. So you get an idea where we are going with this? Well, I actually like it that it's not the whole layers just duplicated and all moved simultaneously to the other position, because now we got some irregularities in there, so they are not completely the same. So now the arms and the body, they are bouncing at the same, how do you call that? Like same rhythm, the same phase. I want to shift the phase a little bit. And I want to the poses to be shifted by one drawing. And what I mean with that is that KRITA is not responding here. And we haven't saved yet. All right. So I don't know if you ever have found yourself in this situation and actually the software recovered from that. Oh no. So KRITA just went went off. Let's see if we have some kind of autosave here, recovery files. No, nothing. No, there was no. Oh, open the autosave file. Yes, please. All right. Okay. That is unfortunate. So never to be too lazy for Control S to save. Especially when you're working on a PC, I feel. Okay, so copy. Well, if this was a tutorial, then it wouldn't happen like that. So, but we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, this is show business from its finest. So, holy. Yeah. So today my my tablet doesn't allow me to switch off or on the touch function, which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I gave up installing new drivers, as this just meant all the time that I don't have recognition of my tablet at all. So okay, let's move them again, like one by one. So, no idea what. Ah, these are the fingers that I pointed out. Okay. Okay, I think we are now. And we save. Oh, yeah, here, please. Yes, overwrite. All right, so you were lucky enough to get a software recovered. That's okay. Now let's see what we were talking about. Now they're bouncing off at the same point, but I want them to be a little bit like a secondary animation, and to get that, I want to offset my hands. Here, this one is as well as okay. And I wanna have a let me see. Right now I'm a little bit lost more in the. So now we are playing until 12. What do we have here? Okay, we need till 13. And those just put in this. So now they bounce with an offset, which makes it a little bit more organic. And we have a secondary animation here, which we also wanna be doing with our head. And now we can just, if I could really just duplicate the layer, mark all the frames on the layer and move them simultaneously, I actually could take this same bouncing ball, just size it up a little bit so it fits the head and move everything up here, because we have the same thing going on with the head. And I want the head, let's keep the head now. We're gonna create the head synced with the movement of the body, and then afterwards, let's give it another color. And then afterwards, I want it to be offset from the body. So and basically, once we have this part ready, we can draw on top of that already quite a lot of details. We want to have a look at it. Okay. Actually, don't need the original drawing anymore here. I'm more interested in seeing the head pose as it's not distorted, so I can now squash it, but I have this ball as a reference to make sure I keep the volume consistent in size. Okay, and here now we have a stretched ball. And we want to come back to this pose here. And I want this as well to be offset. Let's try to offset the same amount we offset our. Now the head and the arms are bouncing the same, in the same rhythm. We could try to offset maybe the hands a little bit more. Let's try that. See, this is the head. Is it? No. This is a hand. And this is a hand. Okay. So let's try to offset them. Maybe the head. All right. So now the head is basically just half the amount of frames offset like the hands. So the hands, as they're the most or the farthest away from the body, they gonna probably have the most dragging behind, as the head is quite attached to the body, but still won't move as simultaneously as the body. Like the body's coming up and then the head is going down. Like you have to imagine like some kind of this kind of a movement. And that will be basically our start. I wanna really get rid of all this stuff here. Just so we are visually clear of how far our so now this is our loop. And I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save a new version. And now I'm just gonna merge down the layers. Another one. So now we have everything. But, drink here. How are you doing so far? How are you all doing? Happy folks in the chat watching today's live stream. Let me know about your experience bouncing balls and run circles. If you already want to warn me from probably upcoming problems that I may have to face during the process, from which I still don't know yet, but you with your experience can help me out. Okay. So now let's get our feet. Why do we have a frame here? There's no change at all from this one to this one. So I'm gonna get rid of this. It's just confusing. Here we have definitely. Okay. So here now we can use again our reference as no, this isn't what this isn't the real reference here. Bring down the opacity. And this isn't our this is the right one, so let's get rid of this as well. Okay. So now we could start drawing on that. I think I wanna maybe we should put in the feet first. So let's add new layer. This is our perfect reference, as we just take this from our illustration. And this. Whoa, 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 whoa. just did a few undos and then I got, is this now just a display error? Do I have a, are we having problems here? So I feel like KRITA is again kind of a moody. Let's restart the moody KRITA. Okay. Okay, now we're drawing on white. It's a little bit too subtle. Drawing white on white. So, but you see, some stuff is going on. I'm accidentally drawing anyways on the wrong. And I got things like this. Look at that. So now I miss half of my drawing. I don't know if this is temporarily. Okay, once I hit play, there are no problems anymore. And I'm drawing again on the wrong layer, so let's try not to do that. I think I'm gonna lock this one just in case, because now I'm a little bit overly cautious, as I feel like the software is doing things that I cannot prevision. I think I put already in quite some details. Let's see how we gonna use those details actually later. Okay, so after we have our pose with both feet in the air, we have a new pose here where the leg in the front is going to be completely stretched out, while this one starts to come to the front. Now we just have to make sure we get perspective right, which could be a little bit. It's still in beta, yeah. It seems so. Like, there's definitely that's why I really still don't feel too comfortable to actually use this for any client work, because I would love because the workflow is so much easier, so much faster, but you have to have reliability when you work on a client project, and you have to handle deadlines. Let's see. But then again, if I had just had the chance to set all my PC again, reinstalling everything, but I don't find the time. So I'm always needing it, and so let's see. I would like, I'm not happy with the perspective, and this is probably the thing that we have to test a little bit, and now it's basically a new illustration for every drawing, and as we also needed a few tweaks on our original character design to actually have it as we wanted here in perspective, every other drawing definitely gonna need some attention. Now I want to quite curve it here. Very forceful arcs as the foot, although it starts to come to the front, is still like dragging behind, right? So that's why everything is kind of very curvy. So that looks good. If you see, looks a little bit too small maybe, but at least the perspective now is pretty cool. Pretty much working. Okay. See with the knee. Okay, so now this foot is gonna be touching the treadmill with the heel, and when I draw my feet like this, I'm always starting too close to the leg. Hello, Anthony. Glad you're joining us. I have a Cintiq Pro HD 16-inch. So it's the 4K model, which they now updated and also sell the 16-inch with just HD, which I highly recommend because I've never, well, I don't use it, the 4K resolution, because it's everything getting too small. So I don't know, the prices were quite different, and I think, at least from my point of view, the HD, I don't know if this not a Pro or whatever is 4K is not worth the money when you compare it with the full HD version, which is way more cheaper. So, but that is my opinion. All right. This feels a little bit too far away. Maybe that is cool because it's stretched out. Also feel like it could be a little bit more inclined, and maybe something like this. Okay. Yeah, Anthony, I'm working as well. Let me show you. I did a test for this animation, and I did the test just with the same character as I remembered it, and I I did it with the app Rough Animator, and this is what I've done on the iPad. So I pretty much enjoy working on the iPad, really enjoy it. I don't have any paper-like protector for the screen. That's why that's one point I don't like at the iPad. The lack of friction when you draw on it. And as I said, I haven't one of those paper-like protectors, and I don't have them because I already have a protector on my screen, and it feels so glued to the screen that I'm a little bit suspicious of like ripping that protector off my iPad screen and probably only having like a completely glued screen afterwards, and I feel like it's too risky. What about you? Do you use the iPad or for animation? Do you have any go-to apps? Okay. I really much like the foot here. Like you really see the movement of the leg of the foot coming to the front. And here we could even try to push this a little bit further as he just arrives on, like there's I'm sure there's certain force bending this leg unnaturally, maybe. Well, until a certain point, I think it would even physically be possible. So I want to bend this as well, maybe. Yeah, why not? Let's keep it loose. What's the current work for? This is just pure fun. This is basically just the whole stream is about practicing my animation skills and learning, trying new stuff. I've never done a run cycle, so we do a run cycle. I've never animated of the last things we did, so we tried it out, and the idea is to figure out maybe all together in the chat. I try to execute it as good as possible, and whenever there are suggestions or I'm get stuck, we figure it out together. So yeah. Okay, so here we have our... I'm now just looking at the body volume to figure out the poses. So this is pose 1, pose 2, pose 3. Now, anyone. And for this one, I'm always looking on the animation I did just to see the key poses. I could also look them up in my... If you guys haven't seen it at the beginning, the poses come basically from... Oh, let me see. I don't actually see what I'm showing you here. From this book, the Animators Survival Kit, where you basically have as well those key poses that you need for a run cycle. Although it's just stick figures, but what we want to... Hello, Cool Teeth! How are you? And... yeah, you basically see the key poses in the book. Very simplified and stick figures. There are different... And then there are also so many different ways to animate a run cycle. This is our just like the basic poses because we're just starting off, and so why overcomplicated? And here I feel like the foot is a little bit too far over here in our perspective. It should be, because when you think it's touching the belt, it should probably be more over here. We may want to correct this, and it should probably be more. So now we are improvising on the fly here. I'm just thinking now, the first position the heel was here. Let's draw in a guideline in here. So here our heel is at that point, and the next one should be around here with the heel. Then we have another one here, and the last one here. So we just position out our leg on this axis to make sure we are in our perspective. Okay, yeah, Anthony says, wondering why people are still buying wacom when you can buy an iPad for less money. I actually, I never connected my iPad via the sidecar function. I think, I don't know if now I'm working on a PC. I have a Mac, but normally I'm working on a PC actually, and I don't know even if how I could connect my iPad with the PC. I think there's rockets. I don't know. There were some apps that made it possible. But I enjoy working on the iPad. It's more on the wacom. It feels more it feels more similar to the analog working on paper as on the iPad, but I think it's because of the friction and the pen. And that could be solved maybe only with such as a paper-like screen protector. So I haven't seen what you've done some frame-by-frame animation Photoshop. Okay. Okay, now you're a web developer. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel very comfortable with the iPad when I'm on the sofa, but then I'll switch whenever I can to the Cintiq. And my iPad is, I think, the smallest iPad, and I don't know if they go up until 16-inch. I haven't seen Apple updates for a long time, so I'm a little bit out of the hardware race, because once I had, like, when I had my Cintiq, I was so happy, like having a Cintiq finally. So it was for such a long time a huge dream, and bit by bit there came in like illustration jobs, and I felt like, okay, I'm feeling there's happening something. This would be actually a tool that helps me make money, so I started to save for the Cintiq, and then I bought the Cintiq, and then suddenly they came things like Procreate, and I thought, damn you, so much new stuff, and I wanted an iPad as well because I like the idea to sit just on my sofa and animate. So it took me a little bit, and then I bought as well an iPad, thinking I'm gonna sell the Wacom, but then I had both of them and felt like both tools have some kind of a advantage, and I think I would also recommend buy an iPad before you buy a Cintiq if you don't have the money to, because start with the iPad and I think you're pretty good. And I think the Cintiq 16-inch, if it's not the Pro, it's not that much more expensive than the iPad, but you don't have the flexibility that you have with an iPad to just go wherever you want and draw and animate. That is so awesome. Yeah, one argument that the Wacom can work as a monitor for your computer and therefore can run high power programs, especially in video game development. But I think the iPad can, at least with the Mac, can be as well used as an external monitor. I don't know how it's with the PC, but yeah. But I think like if I wouldn't have had already the Cintiq and would have bought first the iPad, I don't think that I would have bought a Cintiq afterwards as well. The iPad just came in handy really as a toy, but I love it really. I'm not a big Apple fan anymore, but the iPad really feels like a super helpful tool to do, well, if you like to animate in on or draw on the sofa. It's super cool. And in summer, whenever I have the possibility and work on maybe some drawing first and rough concept of animation or whatever, I totally go out and sit in the park and work there, which is also not very handy with a with an antique. Thanks a lot, man. Nice cartoony style. Thanks, Mynheer Fright. Glad you like it. Yeah, having a Mac in a video game studio. Yeah, I think Macs are, yeah, as you say, Photoshop, After Effects, and Adobe products. Or if you really are into Mac and you have a ton of money, there's the iMac Pro, right? And but I totally get it. Like everything that's 3D related, I don't think that your first choice will be a Mac, I suppose. All right, let's see now. I'm gonna check my poses here. So now we have our foot. Puts his foot down. Gonna check later with the size. Now I just want to get the so this one is pretty much bent, while the other one is even more bent. Now let's see how this is gonna look in the perspective that we have, because I feel like there's some difficulties to see where. So this looks pretty much off. And I think that in general the legs are too short. So we are getting quite low with our body here. And all right. I think the knee knobs are a very helpful tool here to establish our perspective with our rubber hose legs. Let's see. So what we basically have is this leg here is now taking all the weight of our body, and the other one is like rapidly going to the front, and see. Looks too small. I'm afraid if I don't know if I make it way more bigger, if it would touch the belt, the treadmill. So maybe I just have to stretch it further to the back, so like the bending of the feet, exaggerate the bending of the feet. I think this is all right for now. Feel like it's there's no balance at all in this pose, so probably put this one a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, and pose number 4, and we would. Oh, Anthony, don't shoot with all that questions you have. Sorry if I don't read them straight ahead. So, all right, about the program KRITA. If I know the advantages from KRITA in comparison to Toon Boom or Photoshop. Toon Boom, I have not really worked in Toon Boom. When I started off, like just starting off getting into frame by frame animation, I somehow downloaded Toon Boom because it seemed like the super pro tool, and I thought, well, if we already start a new tool, let's get the pro. But so I don't have too much experience with Toon Boom. I cannot tell you. From my experience right now, I suppose Toon Boom is way more stable, and because KRITA had some hiccups, minor hiccups, to be honest. But I would imagine like Toon Boom as a pretty high standard in the industry would have quite a stable software. Compared with Photoshop, it is. Oh man. So let me start. I after trying Toon Boom and so ever, when I really got into frame by frame, it was Photoshop and the simple timeline option that it had, right? And then I got the Animate scripts. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but it's just really helpful to do frame by frame animation in order to administrate your layers and all that stuff. Can be done without it, but it's way easier. And you definitely have very, very high limitations in Photoshop when it comes to inserting additional frames or whatsoever. It's just adapted to frame by frame animation. KRITA it feels like Photoshop when you draw, which I loved always in Photoshop. That's why I never really enjoyed animating in Animate, in Adobe Animate. And I started to use KRITA, and it felt so good. The way you draw, it felt just like Photoshop. as it is pixel based, and you have so many advantages as it's pretty much an animating tool and not only adapted to it. So long story short, I animated Photoshop quite a while, especially for cleanups, or no, not really cleanups. Like the rough animation was mostly done always in Photoshop. And if cleanup requires a certain style, I did it in Animate. But since I started with KRITA, I think I don't want to go back to Photoshop. Because Photoshop it felt only good to draw in there, but really animating was a little bit of a pain. I'm reducing my words here because I feel like I'm a little bit at a point where I don't really get the right perspective. So if you used to Photoshop, animate in Photoshop, try KRITA and see if you had the same complications in Photoshop as I had, which will probably mean that you will enjoy KRITA way more than Photoshop. So, let's see. I hope that answered somehow your question. So okay, this has to be way more. Yeah, here again, I think the knee knob is helping me to establish the perspective. Mm-hmm. So now you see something is happening here again with KRITA. Now I suddenly see a lag here. Okay. I've so Anthony's asking for how long I've been drawing, and I've been doodling like all the time, like all my life, but really just doodling. There was never really the idea of illustrating or something like that. But I think 4 years ago, I started to really study or actually draw way more, and started with basic anatomy because I felt that is something worth developing, because I heard from so many artists or interviews that I saw from artists that they were criticizing that a lot of people don't really learn their fundamentals. And I am a very, very big fan of fundamentals. For example, like I live here in Spain, and when I learned Spanish, wouldn't I didn't feel like I can just jump right in and learn the language just somehow you will learn it. No, I needed to learn the structure. I needed to know how the structure of the language works and so on and so forth and then from a certain point go off just improvising and learning on the fly. And so I thought, well, if I want to be very good at drawing, I probably want to check those out. I never had the intention to draw like very photorealistic or like Marvel, DC comic styles. So that was never my goal, but bit by bit I felt like, okay, the more I did those studies and learned this stuff, I felt as well my cartoony or whatever stylized work improved a lot, which kept me really motivated. And I don't study all the time new things, but right, sorry. I'll do it once in a while, and whenever I feel like I'm where are you originated from? I guess Germany. Yes, you are right. So that's um I don't know. That's kind of a stereotype, right? But yeah, where were we? Yeah, so sometimes I'm feeling struggling and see things that I want to improve because every time I have to do it, it sucks doing it, and I get this. It's not really I'm not really enjoying it, so I feel like, okay, I have to improve that. So that's why I lately do hand studies, because I feel like your characters improve so much with your hands. Like you can have a really cool character, but if the hands are like a little weird, then it looks shitty. So that's why I try to do hands lately. I did quite a lot of head anatomy studies, and now I feel so comfortable drawing not really anatomically correct heads, but my kind of stylized heads, which a lot of anatomy study flows in just to understand where are certain muscles, bones, and whatsoever, and just break it down and simplify it to a very stylized or cartoony style, whatever is your style. You still feel this knowledge, I think. So we are finishing off our first step, and now it's getting a little bit more complicated as we cannot use the loop of our bouncing ball, because one bounce is only one step. In order to get our full walk cycle looping, we obviously need 2 steps. So the first pose is the same as the last, and we can loop it. So yeah. Yeah, definitely. You can check out my work on Instagram. I'm at startedframe1. And yeah, I have it. Oh, let me see. Look at that fancy animation and check it out. Bam! there you have it. Started frame 1 on Instagram. There's also my tree link where you can see my client works and all kind of different stuff. So, all right, now we're gonna have another. Let me see how we do this. So we have to copy all those bouncy ball keyframes. Okay, this one is yeah, the tentacle slap is multi-usage. Alright. So can I? No, okay. I try to copy to clipboard and then paste from clipboard. Yes, we have them all. But is it 28? Let me see to get our whole. So this is now our loop. And we are now. Oh, this is weird. I'm just seeing our bouncing ball from this pose to that pose. It actually this one should be higher, or actually this one lower. Now, if we would have realized that before, maybe that would have been more convenient. So. Okay. And now this one, I wanna. Sorry, I'm just doing right now some weird stuff just to stay on track and not losing. So. All right. So I'm gonna push this as well to this point. Okay. I'll do this again. I copy to clipboard, paste from clipboard. Let's see. All right. All right, so you already saw some stuff. Nice. Okay, so what does that mean for our... Let me save here. I want to save another version just to make sure during our experimentations, we don't lose any valid steps here. So let's work again on those legs. They now feel okay. And this part probably be okay, so here we have a new drawing, and basically what we now have, let's get our reference. We're now basically having this, the leg that you see here in the front is now on this side. And probably even a little bit again, a little bit of perspective here, so I suppose we would see a little bit more of Is this looking right? And this one would be, let's try to bring this more to this side. And that looks super weird. That is not what we want. Bring in our knee. Okay. I'll keep it like this, and then afterwards, yeah, maybe we go a little bit looser now and see afterwards how far we have to tweak details in order to make it a little bit more smooth, or maybe just going in a little bit more or less detailed. So now we basically, what we should have done as well, let's draw in a guide layer as well, layer as well on this side. So now we basically have our reference here, where the positioning of the so now it comes down again. And that is the foot here, the leg here. Why do I feel like I'm not doing the right thing here? Yes, okay. I was carried away and was drawing on our guide layer. We don't want to do that. So let's just lock our guide layer here and jump into our right layer. Get a new keyframe. So now we're good. So I'll make it a little bit bigger as I see this reference here from the other side and our starting pose. This one is actually closer to the camera a little bit, so it definitely shouldn't be smaller. Okay. Isaac Stone, you found the stream. For how long have we been searching? Welcome. I'm happy you found it. And I hope you find wisdom, knowledge, and whatever you were seeking. Okay, so this one is now as well coming to the front. Oh, thanks a lot for the kind words, man. Really appreciate it. Okay. Let's see. Here again, now we want to bend the foot to feel the force. Man, isn't that already a reason why you have to love drawing when you learn about force-driven drawing and setting your lines with force drawing and have to see where the force is? Like, dude, sometimes I feel like drawing makes you kind of a Jedi. So, this feels a little bit weird as I'm not really seeing that foot where it's supposed to be, and that is actually on the other side. So if we can manage to at least, let's see, I could imagine like if we put that leg a little bit behind this one, we get our perspective. Right, look at that. Just to see the pose like this, I still don't Maybe push it even. I'm still not really convinced, but I'm thinking I'm leave it anyways. As throughout the animation or the movement, this may be solved anyways. And new pose. All right, gonna bring in, so okay, now this foot would be here. Well, he should at least be, well, let's make clear he's still on the treadmill. That would be us as well a little bit of a inconvenience, wouldn't it be? In our final animation, if the foot is actually not landing on the treadmill, what good would it be? So let's move this a little bit over here. All right. Okay. All right. Now, ooh, no, just color picked. So it's gonna be still over there. Okay. Magnetize over there. So this will now start to go backwards. Now this is the leg where all the weight is on. So we want to make sure we have everything balanced out. And I feel I want to push this leg further down so it really is beneath the body. Okay. Okay. Oh wow, this seems a little bit. Where will this perspective wise? I'm just brubbling and brubbling. Okay, I'm gonna now get into this and concentrate a little bit here. See how far we push this. I now really feel like we could push that foot, really bend it. Okay, I was some kind of... Okay, that works, although it's getting really small. So we have to resize the foot. Okay. And I think now comes the last pose, so we can finally see the result of our run cycle with legs. So as I said in previous streams, this is always a great moment when you finish off like all the drawings with an additional new element to the animation, whether it's color or, like in this case now, edit the legs. That's always the moment where you finally see the magic happening. The reason why we're all here right now. Okay, now this one is pushing. Somehow I really like those poses as well in the walk cycle, where you have the up pose that is really pushing, where you feel the tension in the leg and how it's pushing up. Love that. And this one is now, see, where I start with the knee knob. Somehow it feels like it helps me to get a better idea of perspective. Let's see. Hmm. I still feel now it's working. Okay. All right. That looks not too bad. Isaac, I first animated the bouncing ball of the body, and then I synced the hands with the bounce of the body to offset it later, and same with the head. Anthony, thanks so much for coming by, and you're always welcome to ask questions. That's the idea behind that. have a great day, and I hope to see you on Wednesday, man. Will be great. All right, I think that pretty much looks good, right? So now I would continue. Oh, that's so awesome, man. Really happy with the design that came out last time without any plan where we would go, and now we are already in the middle of our next animation. So cool. And this one definitely is gonna, all the last ones were also very cool. What are we gonna do? Do we do hands or head next? You tell me. I'm gonna be here the whole stream, so you decide. Could be fun. Cool thing with the hands gonna be the fingers because they are gonna flop. Hands. Gotcha, check. Hands it's gonna be. So let's see. Now the cool thing is by just using those bouncing balls for the hands, I can definitely see where, for example, my fingers gonna be stretched out as well and flop and gonna be flopping. This is basically gonna. So let's see. Let's bring in our reference for a second. Oh, now the hands. Getting nervous, sweaty, anxious. Okay. So now we're gonna stretch those out. Okay. You know the moment where you listen to music on Spotify and then you listen and apparently your playlist is over and you get into those suggested playlists that Spotify just assumes you may like, and then suddenly you don't even realize you're already on the suggested list because the music sounds quite alright, and then suddenly there's this song that is so off. It's just happening to me right now. And I have no idea how I came to George Michael. Nothing against George Michael, but that is not the music I would like to listen right now. So. Right. Oh, now we're just drawing on top of the same layer. Well, they're not. Well, we don't have a new layer. We just want to make sure we don't overlap here anywhere. But no, we want to put that on a separate layer because the timings are different. So cut selection to new layer. It's empty. What? Where did we draw on again? Cut selection to new layer. No. But cut selection to new layer, isn't that supposed to cut it? Did I copy? Okay, no, I cut it. All right, so these are the hands, and this is our layer with the legs, and I'm gonna lock this just in case. The body, why not? Lock it up. All right. So here I definitely gonna just copy my arms, my hands as they were, as this was really a reference image and is still like the most valuable drawing right now, as it is the most completed. We're gonna see, like, I'm not mistaken, like this is our, like, let's say our pose where the volumes are not stretched, not squashed. So we have this pose of the hands twice. If you check out the bouncing balls that we have for the hands, now they are stretched again. Oh no, they're all the time. So I think I did wrong. These stretched out balls, they come bouncing from down here, they bounce up. So those fingers are not extended towards the front, but we will need this pose anyway, so we didn't work in vain. I put it in here, and I just have to adjust a little bit the position. All right, we are still good. So what's happening here, those come from beneath, so we are dragging behind from beneath, if you know what I mean. Like, our hands is actually gonna be having the fingers further bent down. So see how this looks. Maybe we're gonna erase a little bit of our reference ball here to see a little bit better the result of our hand. Okay. And now here they're also squashed. So here it's gonna be, this is gonna be weird as the fingers are actually gonna extend the palm of the hand. See how the thumb actually going here. Let's erase a little bit of our reference ball here to see a little bit clearer what we have here. Our hands, what's going on here. Oh. And that are all the poses we need for the hand. So we copy that and then paste it in here. So this one is basically looping, and the same will happen with the head. It makes sense, like physic-wise, how it's, but I'm still not sure if this is really what I had in mind, and if this will work with the dollar here, because it feels like he's slapping down on something. You know what I mean? So maybe he's going down too far. Let's see which pose is basically the, I think this one is a problem. And let's open the hands a little bit up. Oh. So I want them to You think they're too far from apart? They're covering too much distance from their up and down, you think? Check. See how we're gonna have a look at that. Yeah, it's quite some distance they're going. Yeah, let's try. Why not? See. Have a little bit confused here right now. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I still feel like this very closed hand on the bounce makes it a little bit too slappy. Like he should always sorry. Like the fingers, they should always like be pointing towards the dollar or the money. Gonna Yeah, I think I'm gonna work on those again because they maybe because they still can be squashed here. They're really rough still, but yeah, that makes it feel a little bit. I love the exaggeration, but I think it's not really bringing home the intention here. So I may also want to try to extend them higher up, but still being bent or pointing towards the money. Okay. Could you just move the dollar a bit? No, I think the problem is not that I'm too far away from it, but I feel like the hands are not really trying to grab the dollar as they are basically doing this. So I don't think that the position of the dollar would. I think that result is already working. It's getting a little bit messy now. Let's move those balls here. Still want to have them in here, but right now they are just making noise here as they're not positioned. Yeah, I think we for now we can continue with the head and then see how the rest comes together. Also, still have to do the what's the other thing that still has to be done? By the way, the dollar will move anyway, so probably interesting how this is gonna. We should probably animate like this here could also be represented by a bouncing ball who's bouncing up and down and would be counter. How do you say like counter moving to the body. So whenever the body is up, this is down, and vice versa. This is gonna get a new dynamic in here, and the head, definitely the head is gonna help a lot. Oh. Kind of feel like we should clean up a little bit here. And I'm just looking at the watch. I'm really sorry, but I have to. It's really, we're late. Damn it. Okay. I think we have to continue on Wednesday with this beauty. Believe me, it's not easy now to not continue animating, but this is gonna be really cool animation. I'm really convinced. And we're gonna see later on if we put in more in-betweens as well to make it a little bit more fluent, as we are now partly on 4s with all the elements. So we could reduce it to have it all on 2s, which we're gonna make it more fluent. So yeah, I'm really excited. This is gonna turn out great, I'm sure. So yes, thanks everyone for joining today, for all the new people that came by and yeah, participated today. If you haven't subscribed yet, give it a try, just to not miss any streams. Check out the videos from the last streams if you are interested in my other work. As I said before, and I'm gonna do it again. Here comes the slap. Started from one on Instagram. You can see as well our finished posts, our finished animations there as posts. We're still not published our last animation. I'm really looking forward to finish that as soon as possible. So yes, see you on Wednesday then. Yeah, it's the same time, 2 p.m. Central European time. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week. For now, this is episode 19, so we're on a run. Happy for today. That said, have a wonderful day, and see you hopefully on Wednesday to continue with this animation. Bye, everyone.